What's up, everybody? This is Legitical Response, and I'm about to get into something that I haven't done in a while. It was actually the main focus of the channel, and I kind of gotten away from that, but I'm trying to get back into it, giving my thoughts and my opinion on, stuff that's going on in politics, kind of political commentary, if you will. Kind of a reaction, political commentary kind of thing going on. And I haven't done that in a while, like I said, so we're going to get back into it with this. I've been following Vivek Ramaswamy, and let me tell you, he is blowing my mind. This guy, he's on point, he's smart, he's sharp, he's witty. He's about to be the next president. Maybe. We shall see. The only way I can honestly see him becoming president is if Trump's taken off the ticket, because you ask half the country, Trump's going to win. You ask the other half of the country, they say no. But I think Trump's a lot more popular than what the polls say. And I know one thing is for sure. Nobody wants Joe Biden. I don't care who you are. You are delusional if you think Joe Biden should be put back into office. You're delusional, and you need to shut up. All right, so let me stop running my mouth, and let's roll the clip. Let's go.
Well, I think the former president is going to come up at the debate, whether he's there or not, and he's now facing his fourth criminal indictment, this time in Georgia on forgery, false statements, election fraud, and racketeering charges. You have said that these are political or politicized prosecutions, politicized persecutions through prosecution. Let's listen to what his former attorney general is saying about this.
Oh, Bill Barr. Here we go.
People who defendants say that he genuinely did feel that he was robbed, and this was the good fight and the proper fight.
Well, even if he did, and I am dubious about
he
that,
did.
but even if he believed that, that doesn't mean you can use illegal means to rectify it.
For good
If you
reason.
think the bank is unfairly keeping your money, there are many things you can do to get it back. You can't go and rob the bank.
He didn't try to rob the bank.
What's your response to the former attorney general?
Look, I think there are deep legal flaws with this case. I'm talking to you from the Nixon Presidential Library, where I'm delivering a speech later tonight. We'll look at Nixon versus Fitzgerald. This is something that the press has altogether ignored. A president's acts while in office are something that he actually enjoys immunity for, other than through the impeachment process. So if he believes, even incorrectly, that he was looking after election fraud, that alone could be a defense. I also think there are deep due process failures. Let's start with the fact that they actually, Fulton County, publicly posted the charges of the indictment even before the grand jury had signed them. That's a grave prosecutorial, bushy-tailed, overexcited mistake. That's a due process violation that itself could be grounds for a motion to dismiss. We also have to look at this prosecution in the context of the fact that there are three others, now four prosecutions in a series of months, all convening around a presidential election that sets a god-awful precedent, Jim, for this country. We do not want to become a nation where the party in power uses multiple different legal cases at the same time, pushing untested novel legal theories to knock out its opposition in the middle of a presidential election. That is not how we do things in the United States of America. And I say this as somebody who in many national polls is now polling second. It would be easier for me if Donald Trump were eliminated from competition. That is not how I want to win. I stand on the side of principle, not politics.
There are now four different
when I say
indictments.
We need to unite this country.
Yeah, let me jump in. There have been four different indictments. You don't think he's committed any crimes in any of these indictments?
I don't think any of the indictments have demonstrated that he committed a crime, no. And I've written on the pages of the Wall Street Journal and elsewhere wearing a technical legal hat, and you and I can go into that detail if you're
refusing
interested.
to return
but
classified
I think these are
documents?
clearly politically motivated. Well, let's just take that one as an example. That indictment made zero mention of the Presidential Records Act, the most recently passed act that relates to a president, including an outgoing president's access to documents. The fact that this is a 49-page indictment, that one was, that was silent on that fact, reveals smacks of politicization. I also think that the fact that they used the Espionage Act, one of the most un-American acts in U.S. history, that has been used to round up anti-war activists, that was used to lock up Eugene V. Debs when he ran for president.
But do you think it's okay to have classified documents? You think it's okay for you to have classified documents laying around the Ramaswamy household?
No, it's not. But I think that there's a difference between a bad judgment and a crime.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
Presidential Records Act expressly
but they came
gives
to
the
him and
U.S.
asked for the
president
documents
access to
back.
the
Yes,
and
records.
he
sir.
returned them. They asked for
Yep.
the documents back. and he
Again, I
just
would have made
refused.
very different judgments.
Yeah.
Look, Jim, I am running in the same race that Donald Trump is. So I'm not saying that every judgment he made was the same judgment I would make. In fact, it wasn't. But that is different from charging it as a crime, which I think sets an awful precedent in our country.
Yes.
But in the federal election case, he lied about the election. He tried to overturn the election results. Why not call him out for that as well?
I will remind you the Supreme Court's precedent in Alvarez, a 2012 case, which held that public officials, including politicians, have a First Amendment right to lie, to tell the truth, to even make statements they didn't believe, let alone the fact that there isn't a shred of evidence to suggest that Trump didn't even believe his own claims. And so we can get into the legal technical details all we want. That's going to happen in the courtroom. But as a matter of judgment, as somebody who is running to and expects to be the next president of the United States, my top job is to reunite this country. And my way of doing that is going to be to pardon Donald Trump on day one and to pardon really anybody else who was also the victim of a politically motivated persecution through prosecution. We have to move forward as a country. And I think this sets a dangerous precedent unless we actually pardon.
But Mr. Ramaswamy, you just said you want to wait for all the details, the technical details to come out at trial, but you're declaring beforehand that you would pardon him. Why not listen for the facts to come out at trial and then make that determination?
I'm saying it based on...
See, I don't understand. They're constantly going after Vivek on all these little interviews I've been seeing, trying to get him on something about Trump. Who cares about Trump? Let's talk about Vivek. You got him on the TV. Why not just talk to him, his policy, what he wants to do? Why talk about Trump? It's because that's all they can talk about. Donald Trump gets the ratings. Let's keep rolling.
One assumption. The assumption is that the statements in each of the indictments are the most prosecution favorable statements we're going to get. Any legal scholar would tell you that is a fair assumption. In any case, the prosecution always puts up its strongest foot in the indictment itself. We haven't even heard from the defense. So yes, if there are gaping surprises that come up, I mean, there's zero evidence to suggest that Trump was selling those secrets to foreign adversaries for private gain. But if those facts come up, of course, I would revisit my judgment. But the fact of the matter is the prosecution obviously makes the most aggressive statement of its case in the indictment. And assuming that's the case here, as it is in any other case, I will absolutely pardon Trump on day one, January 20th, 2025, when I'm in office.
Would you pardon Trump's other alleged co-conspirators in both the documents and the election cases?
It depends on how the facts match up to the law. I mean, you're talking about the documents case. There are special features of the law that apply to a U.S. president. Literally, the Presidential Records Act treats past U.S. presidents.
But
why
why say you would pardon Trump on day one, but not? But why say you're going to pardon Trump on day one, but not make that kind of blanket promise to the alleged co-conspirators? Shouldn't they get that kind of same pardon offer?
I'm favorably inclined. I'm favorably inclined to do it. But right now, I'm a competitor against Donald Trump in this primary, and I want to be very clear on the side of principle, though it's against my interest in this race. That's why I think in the interest of uniting this country, it is especially important to be clear about that fact. I expect to maybe making tens of pardons on day one. I think there are countless Americans who have been the victims of politically motivated persecutions through prosecution. Peaceful protesters on January 6th, January 6th defendants who actually have had constitutional due process violations. Julian Assange is someone I've specifically identified as somebody I would absolutely pardon. Ross Ulbricht, Douglas Mackey, others. But I think that the only way we're going to move forward as a country, there can be no reconciliation without truth. We have to put that past behind us. And my top job is going to be to heal the wounds of this nation, to lead us forward. Because even look at the conversation
pardoning Trump is going to heal the wounds. Pardoning Trump is going to heal the wounds of the nation.
I do. I do think it will be a step towards healing the wounds of the nation. I think there are deep wounds in this country that are the consequence of systematic censorship, the weaponization of police force to accomplish political goals through the justice system. That is wrong. This is not an easy project ahead for the next president. I am in this race because I do see a lot of candidates on both sides motivated by vengeance and grievance. I am motivated by leading this nation forward. And the way we're going to do it is by restoring one standard of the rule of law for all Americans, restore the integrity of the justice system, and leave politics to politics. The people of this country should decide who the next president is. They're free to take into account all of the information that has been laid out by left-wing media, right-wing media, etc., to make their decisions. If they didn't think Donald Trump made good decisions, then they should take that into account when voting him out. But that is not the basis for a prosecution.
What about Trump making these threats and making these kinds of inflammatory comments about the judge, about the special counsel, and so on in some of these cases? Do you defend that? Should he knock that off?
So I'm not familiar with the specific nature of which inflammatory comment you're referring to or not. He's clearly deeply aggrieved by the fact that he's being prosecuted through 4 separate cases that have arisen at the same time in the middle of an election. Again, from my vantage point, I would make very different judgments and would have made very different judgments than Donald Trump. But that is a different point than saying this should be criminalized. That's where I'm at. So I'm not in this to defend
he says, I'm coming
Trump
after
or
you
anybody else. I'm in this to
me.
defend the nation.
But you've heard him say, you've heard how he said, I'm coming after you if you come after me. I mean, you've heard that, correct? Is that appropriate?
I mean, if he means that he's going to file a motion, if he means he's going to file a motion to dismiss, then he should absolutely file a motion to dismiss, which I think will be very embarrassing for the prosecutor and, frankly, very embarrassing for the entire.
You don't think that that's
what an answer? What the hell?
But you don't think that's what he means when he says that?
I'm going to be
don't put words in his mouth.
I have not. You've clearly studied every word.
Is there a threatening undertone?
I'm going to be very honest with you, Jim. I have not.
You see how they're trying to play it? Is there a threatening undertone there? Who cares? You can't insinuate somebody's undertones. You can't insinuate what somebody's thinking about what they say. I mean, sure, you can. But don't try to put your own narrative into it. See, that's what I hate about the mainstream media. They're always trying to put their own narrative into it. And I've been noticing throughout this whole video, if you go back and look, these little, whatever they call it at the bottom, just telling you all this crap. Just go back and look. They've been trying to put a negative spin on how Vivek's answering all these questions. It's retarded. Let's keep rolling.
Not read the specific tweet or social media post that you're referring to. I'm running for president. I'm looking at reviving our economy and declaring independence from China. I'm not parsing every social media post from every one of my other candidates. But broadly speaking, my whole point is there's a difference between a bad judgment and a crime. And the moment that we conflate
a lot of crimes start with bad judgments.
That is the moment that we have a threat to liberty.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay, but you actually have to have committed a crime to be prosecuted for one. So making a very bad judgment as a politician, that's a basis for a voter to make a decision. But that's how we've got to do things in the United States of America. We have to let the people of this country decide who actually runs the country, not a federal administrative police state. And I just think that sets a dangerous and deeply problematic precedent in this country. And that is why I've been so vocal against it. That is why I'm clearly committed to pardoning Donald Trump if he is convicted.
But you said earlier you would wait for the facts to come out. If there are some big surprises, you may reconsider that.
My assumption is that the worst statement of the facts, the most favorable version of the facts, is in the indictment. In 99.9% of legal cases, that's exactly how it works in the United States. And I said that on day one when I made my commitment that was my assumption.
Wow, crazy. All right, well, that's enough of that. See, they always trying to bring up Trump in these, man. And Vivek, man, he's so well spoken. He's so concise with his words. I haven't seen anybody get the best of him yet. I've seen him do a lot of interviews. I've seen him go back and forth with a lot of people. There's another clip I'm going to be doing here pretty soon where he's talking with somebody else from CNN, and they debate back and forth. And, man, he tears her apart. Just demolishes her. But they keep going after Trump. It's getting ridiculous, man. Like, it's just getting crazy out there. I'm fully behind Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't know if you are, but I am. If I'm voting for him in the primaries. I'll go ahead and say that. That's my guy. I'm voting for him in the primaries. If Donald Trump gets the nomination, we'll have to see. But I certainly am going to give Vivek my vote for the primaries. And in my opinion, I think you should too. This guy is something else. And if you want to learn more about him, go check out the Culture War, Tim Pool's podcast, where he does an interview with Vivek Ramaswamy. That's what had me sold. Go watch it. It's amazing. He lays out his whole vision for what he wants to do as president. It's crazy. Go check that out. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit the like if you liked it. Hit that notification bell. And be positive. Peace.